Joe, you're on the Ken Coleman Show.
Ken, thanks for all you do. You're an inspiration every time I listen to you.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. How can I help you?
And thanks for connecting on Facebook about a question I had. So I'll start with a question,
great.
and then maybe we can get into some advice on the non-question.
Okay.
The question is, do you know of a website or a social media platform or even an entrepreneurial radio show like yourself that connects other entrepreneurs and or potential business partners? Because that's what I'm needing here in Greenville. I've had many different business plans and business opportunities for locations of space that I've looked at. And when I come back home from it and I assess everything, I says, well, I have 50-60% of what it's going to take to start this business. But I really need the other 30 or 40% in a business partner to make it work.
Why? Why do you think you need a business partner? Give me an actual example of what the 50
I'll
or
give you
60
a real
means.
example.
Yeah.
So I'm a front end guy, so I'm sales, marketing, guest service, connector in the community, just real inspirational, high energy front end guy that wants to create and that's create smiles on my guest faces or connecting people through the business and being a huge part of the community. When I think about having to do the financials, the business plans, finding the right software, finding the right website, figuring out the e-commerce, figuring out, what it's going to take on Facebook advertising, all that just wears me down and puts me to where I'm not at my best. I'm at my best when my feet are moving and I'm interacting with people.
Okay. All right. So let's pause on, that's a great description. Totally tracking with you. What is the business idea that you've applied this ratio to?
So it's great because where I'm at, I think it's one of the hottest growing markets in all of the U.S. People are moving down here, families. And while the job market is soft and the wages are low, there's a void with all the growth here of family entertainment. So I'm thinking sports, entertainment, and teenagers. And my specific business that I see would be able to have a YMCA or a sports facility for all ages, but specifically geared to connect with a brewery or a restaurant right next door. So it's an impulse attraction that people can play, then eat, or eat and then play, and I can connect and draw upon their business and their clients, and be more of a boardwalk style attraction. But at the same time, go to the schools and draw on the teens that are playing their video games and
okay, so
TV
is it? That's what I need to know. Is this like a Dave and Buster's?
I don't want to go that route, but that's the easiest way for you to understand what it is.
Well, no, I mean, but is it? That's what I didn't understand. Is it video game or arcade style gaming, or is it batting cage and whatever else?
It's actually unique. Think of it like this: Disney had one time had a sports park, so it was very creative. And that's the best we can describe it. It's different sports experiences that could be both hourly and part of a party or an event.
Okay, and then the restaurant would be a part of it. So you could come do all the sporting things and then go over and eat and watch games and big screen. So all that. So
yes, because of COVID and because of the conservative nature of nobody seeing this business before, I wanted to have two sources of revenue and two business models. I wanted to have the live component attached to the restaurant and the impulse, and then I wanted to have the traditional parties and the traditional groups that could come in.
Well, let me address what you called about today, because I don't think you need a business partner necessarily. I think that it's understandable how you come to that conclusion, but the things, let's go back to what you said, the things that really drain you, which is the operation side of the business, the bookkeeping, the business planning. I mean, you can get a consultant who has run something like this before or something similar. I mean, you can save up the money and get somebody to help you build a really solid business plan, or you could actually just, do some homework with folks who are successful in doing something similar like this in other parts of the country, and they're not a traditional consultant. They're actually a real practitioner, but you could maybe pay in some good money to come sit at their feet and have them help you with a business plan. That doesn't require a business partner. That requires a little bit of patience to save up the money, find the right people, and go sit at their feet. Because if they tell you, okay, here's what you're looking at, you don't want to go into debt for this, so you're going to lease space. And so they build a whole model out and put a real budget in place based on their experience and based on your environment. They go, here's what you need to find out. If I was going to do this in Greenville, South Carolina, here's what I would need to know. And you go get the answers. You know, there's somebody out there that I think would be willing to take your money. And again, I don't want the traditional consultant here. I want somebody who's actually done it and been successful doing it. And I think those people are out there. If you really want to give this a run, because this is not a side hustle. This is a substantial commitment, and I think you know that. So there's going to have to be some time and money involved here. And so you've got time, because it's going to take some time to save that up, to get going, to get that thing going. There's a lot there. So this restaurant, live entertainment complex combo, it's not a new idea. Somebody's done it. Somebody's doing it well. And you got to go do your homework. You don't need a partner. You need somebody to help you build the business plan. And then you need to find a really good bookkeeper locally in Greenville, South Carolina. You know?
I love it. I get it.
You see what I'm saying? Like a good bookkeeper.
That's more fair. I'll spend more money that way, but it'll take away needing a business partner.
No, you actually won't spend more money that way, because what you think is spending money, you would, in the long run, if this thing is successful, you'll end up giving more away to a partner, and you don't have control. You have you don't have full creative control when you have a partner. You've always got this other relationship where we got to sit down, and you're the vision behind this. You're the guy that wants to get out there and be the evangelist, and you're the heart behind this deal. You have to give away some of the heart if you have a partner.
Love it. Good. That was a good 3 or 4 minutes. I'm totally refocused now.
Yeah.
All right. Second part. If that risk/reward or just doesn't work out, my backup plan is and has been these last 6 months since I moved to South Carolina to try to, create an opportunity, either entrepreneurial or as an employee. And I wanted to ask you this simple question. Having done many, many, many different things from a resume standpoint at mostly, 10 to 20 years ago, from a resume standpoint, when I was doing the most in my career, it's hurting me. I know it's hurting me from what they look at, and I know that I haven't sat down and given 120% on figuring out how to make the resume perfect. So oftentimes I realize I'm not giving it my best shot, and it's draining and it's frustrating for different positions. So I think, in my head, I'm saying, wow, if I really, really, really had the opportunity to face-to-face, I think it could show them so much more than my resume. So sometimes I go out of my way and I try to figure out ways to introduce myself to them, separate from a resume and separate from a job posting. But with COVID and today's, everybody's attention span being so focused online, I wanted to ask you if you know of a specific example, if these video tablets where I've seen people create videos and put it in a tablet and send it to an employer, or there's video software, do you have something similar to that can take the place of a resume?
I have not. Our team has talked about that, because I do think video resumes are going to be an absolute thing of the future, and we're kicking around some ideas. I don't have anything right now. But what I will say is that you don't need to have something, again, super fancy. You don't have to have some existing product. If you want to shoot a 60 to 90 second video of different clips of you just looking at the camera and talking about your passion for something, and that's something that you can email somebody,
Gotcha. Okay.
It doesn't have to be some pre-existing app or something that does it perfectly. And just get it done. These kids, man, these 17, 18-year-old kids, they do such good things. You could find a 17, 18-year-old video whiz in Greenville, South Carolina, and say, hey, here's what I want to do. Help me edit and put it together. They'll make it look snappy for you. That'll cost you nothing. It'll cost you a little something, but you don't have to have some product or app. But I want to go back to what you said. I opened up the show today talking about this article at kencoleman.com, which you need to actually go get. It's called How to Beat the Applicant Tracking System. It's on my website, but you also need to get my resume guide, and you need to download that and use it, because it's going to help you whittle out all that irrelevant stuff. I don't know that your experience is hurting you. I just think that you're putting resumes together that have everything you've ever done, and it reads like a small biography, and the applicant tracking system is actually kicking you out. So I actually opened up today's show with that. So go read that article get my resume guide and do it the Ken Coleman way. Your resume is going to stick out. And I love that you're connecting with people. I would continue to do that. And don't just rely on the resume submission. I think you got great passion and great excitement. I think you're going to need a really good day job, to be honest with you, a really good one or two, to get yourself in a financial position to do this dream. Because I think it's going to take you years to get positioned for this. I don't know if it's 2 years or 5 years. I don't know. But to do it right and to do it without all this this massive risk, you have to save up some money. And I think that maybe you can tiptoe into it.
Yeah, I don't want to get too much more of your time, but I do have some money to invest. I don't have to wait on that.
How much money do you have?
It's a lot of SBA money when I tell you this number, but I have 140.
Small Business Administration loan?
It's a small business administration. It's paid over 30 years. So
yeah, it's
so
a
while
loan.
that money technically has to get paid back, it's liquid in my savings account or in a conservative, stock. So my point is I'd much rather go change people's lives and make that my purpose and make that my everyday business.
I get it, but bro, that money goes fast. And the fact that you took a loan out, so you've got it invested and you're making money on that?
Well, I'm an entrepreneur, so I own a business that I'm winding down from New Jersey that I still have to put in part-time hours every week for a year or two. And I was able to get the Small Business Administration money through Hurricane Sandy, 10, 11, 12 years ago, and now recently through COVID.
Yeah. All right. Well, we're not big fans of loans here, but I've got other people that are waiting. But I would just be very, very careful. I'd try to pay that off. I would not. There's a lot of squirrely stuff there that could really come back to bite you. Be very, very careful. Very, very careful.